We're at our garage and test facility where we have a 2019 VolksWagen Golf. Here's the side view. Doesn't look much different than other four-door hatchbacks we see on the road with other brands. And a peek from the rear. In addition to the VolksWagen Golf, we're also driving a Kia Soul X-Line this week. We'll have a link for that video test at the end of the Golf video. Just go to the end, click and watch. So you're getting two vehicles for the price of one. And if I recall, the Soul's about $4,000 cheaper than the Golf. That should be interesting. The previous Golf had a large 1.8 liter turbo putting out 170 horsepower. It's gone, replaced with a smaller 1.4 liter turbo putting out 147 horsepower. That's the bad news. The good news, the previous 5-speed manual has been replaced with a 6-speed manual transmission, and the previous 6-speed automatic has been replaced with this 8-speed automatic transmission. According to VolksWagen, the performance stays the same, but the fuel economy jumps way up. Here are the official specs. 32 overall compared to 28 overall from the previous year. We'll be taking this out on the road and see if these figures are really true. So don't go away. For what it's worth, I put 41 miles of city driving before we came to the test facility and was getting around 25 mpg. 24.6 at the moment. We'll be racking up a lot more miles, especially on the freeway. See if we can bump these figures up. Since we have the price sheet out, I'll show you what you're getting for your money. I'll just scroll down. Looks like we get a pretty good warranty here. Here's some options. And a total tab. These are fancy looking headlights, pretty big too. We'll take these out and see how they perform in the dark. Big uns. It's dark enough, let's take these headlights out and see what they do. Look pretty bright to me. Here we have the headlights on a building 100 feet away. A bit low to the ground. Let's go to high beam. Far better. Low beam adequate for city driving. Here's what the rear view camera looks like in the dark. Pretty decent. When you turn the steering wheel to the left, you get side lights. Comes in handy in parking lots. Here we have the high beams on a building 300 feet away. Yeah, it's not as dark as I would like it to be, but I have things to do tonight. This is all you're going to get. Go to low beam. Goes out about 225 feet. I'd say on backcountry roads, you want to keep this on the high beam. Overall, decent lights. But as big as the lamps were, I was expecting a bit more, to tell you the truth. But they'll do. Let's take a look at the cabin and the second row seating. Room for 2 full-size adults, although the leg room might be a bit cramped if the front seats are pushed back too far. If you want to open the rear hatch, you have to have the secret button location. If you don't know this, you'll never figure it out. There you go. Those clever Germans. 23 cubic feet of storage room, unless you put the second row seats down, then you have more. More storage under the floor, plus a spare tire. The interior is nothing fancy, but the materials and workmanship are far above what I need. No complaints. A very large glove box that will hold a lot of stuff. And like the Kia Soul I drove this week, we get a real, honest-to-goodness manual emergency brake lever. The way it should be on all cars, not that electronic emergency brake garbage that I don't like. Thank you, VolksWagen. We're getting a lot of reflection off of this, but if you look close, a very simple climate control system. 3 knobs, a few buttons. Doesn't get any easier than this. There are 6 fan speed settings, and if you turn it up all the way, it's pretty loud, like having your ear to the rear end of a 747 jet engine, but it cools off pretty good, so I'm not complaining. Nice cold air. Comes in handy when it's 98 degrees outside. It'll be 114 by the time lunchtime rolls around. The gauge cluster looks nice, well designed. And thankfully we don't have that cheap plastic cover that we get in a lot of Asian cars that reflects the sun and you can't see anything. The Germans don't do that. Thank you. I did have 2 minor gripes. Number 1 on the sunroof. Typical German car, we get this flimsy shade. It keeps the sun out but not the heat. We need something more solid here, but at least it's not black like other Volkswagens I've had. It's white, which reflects better, but this is cheap. Doesn't work too well when it's 115 degrees outside. And under the door, the rocker panels are a bit too wide. Have the dirt shelf where all the garbage builds up, mud, snow. You might get your pants dirty. You want to keep a rag in the trunk to wipe it down every now and then. In spite of the few gripes, I still give the interior a thumbs up. Very simple, easy to use, nice seats. This concludes the first half of the video, which is the show and tell segment. Now we're going to go out and rack up some miles. When it comes to creating a power steering system that's electric and has feel and feedback, the Germans just don't get it. But on the positive side, the steering's quick and responsive, so that's what really counts. Very, very light. We'll take it on the turning circle. See how the handling is. Hang in here pretty good. They require 32 pounds of air in the tires. That's pretty low for a Volkswagen, but it is providing a soft ride and good handling. As we do in all of our videos, we're going to take some mild speed bumps around 25 miles per hour and evaluate the suspension performance on impact. Here comes bump number 1. Pretty smooth, didn't feel a thing. Some mild thumping from the wheels. Number 2. Number 3. And the big nasty one coming up here. Overall, I'd say pretty smooth for what is basically a small car. It passed. By the way, you can shift manually. Just push this knob over to the right, up and down. Or you can use the paddle shifters on the steering wheel, where they belong, not on the steering column like the Italians do, where they do not belong. Or if you want to drive in a hurry but don't want to shift yourself, there's always the S Sport mode for brisk automatic shifting. Plenty of options here. So let's lock it in the Sport mode. Oh, now we're moving. Once the turbo kicks in. A little bit of lag off the line, but no big deal. Moves out pretty good. Decent brakes. I do have one gripe about these mirrors. They're just way too small. It makes it hard to see what's beside you. You got to keep your eyes peeled. Aside from the mirrors, if you do a lot of commuting on the expressway, this is a great vehicle to have. Very maneuverable, quick. You run in and out of traffic with ease. Fun to drive. We're going to take an expressway trip. See if we can bump up the fuel economy figures. We'll be trying to keep our speed around 65 miles per hour. A bit more if I can get away with it. Well, 34.2 mpg, I'm not complaining. At 97 degrees Fahrenheit. Freeway economy test. Let's do this one more time. Let's keep that cruise control on and see if I can hit 40 mpg. Almost there. Well, keeping our speed around 60 to 61 miles per hour. We did manage 42.6 mpg. Wowee. So after a week of driving, what's my take on this Volkswagen? Well, I like it. It's got a lot of good features. It's quick, yet economical, handles like a champ, very smooth ride, moves in and out of traffic with ease. This is something I could live with every day, a great commuter vehicle. Then again, that $27,000 price tag seems a bit steep to me. I crunched the numbers and there seems to be a price increase somewhere along the line. Someone told me it was up to $1,000 over the previous model. Could be true. Since the newer transmissions are more expensive, I can see why there might be a price increase, but this newer engine is smaller, less expensive. So I would think everything would work out to be about the same. Fortunately, VW dealers are known to give big discounts if you go down at the right time, so work out your best deal. If you're looking for a nice small car that's slightly more expensive, here's the video for the Kia Soul we were also driving this week. Just click and watch.